Good morning, students. How are you all doing? First of all, I welcome all of you all to our BOS live classes. And I'm very happy to see that so many bright minds are present here with a great spirit, with a great enthusiasm, and a desire to bring a great change in their lives, careers, to make their family proud, to make the nation proud. And I'm sure with all your best efforts, with all your focused and dedicated efforts, you will be definitely making out a great future for everyone who is connected with you directly, indirectly. So I welcome, I take this opportunity to even congratulate you all for selecting the best course, not only in commerce. This is one of the most prestigious, one of the most, I should say, high respected course, a course which is looked upon in the society with great regards. I'll just share a very interesting moment of my career, you can say, not even career, because I was a kid at that time. So my dad used to go to some person who used to do something of his income tax. This much I understood when I was in standard 8th. So one evening, when my dad was not keeping well, he requested me to come along with him so that in case if he has some physical problems, so I should be there by his side. So I joyfully accepted because it was, I'm talking about 1990s students. So at that time, going out, enjoying, partying was not a culture, right? Let me tell you, I hail from Bombay. Even in places like Bombay, this wasn't the culture, a regular culture that, okay, people will go out to chill out. And that wasn't a regular culture. So having any such opportunities were always a great, uh, you can say, we used to wait that when we'll get an opportunity to go out for any reason. So I agreed to go with my dad. Only what I was understanding from what he was carrying with his in his files, the papers, I only understood that he's carrying something which has many calculations, like how I have maths, which I do not like. So when we reached there, I entered a place which I got to know is called as an office. See, I'm just sharing that situation where you should visualize yourself as a child who is not very grown up, going to school and only having exposure, not everything, right? So that was the mindset in which I was when I went to that place, which is called as office. I saw many people going here and there. The most common thing which I saw, which I even commented to my dad, ki here everyone is chashmish. I'm sure you'll understand this. So everyone is having specs. And my dad laughed and said, yes, they are all chartered accountants. I did not understand at that time what is a chartered accountant. I only knew doctors. See, as a child, in fact, today now, because of so much of social media and all, even school kids know what is an astronaut. I did not even know what is an engineer at that time because we never saw them. We see in day-to-day life mainly someone called as doctors, or maybe someone who is running a shop, someone who is an auto driver, someone who is, let us say, if you're traveling, you even know a pilot. But I'm talking about 1990s. Huh? So for me, what is a chartered accountant itself was a big question mark. So I asked my dad, what is a chartered accountant? So he said he is a very knowledgeable person. See, try to understand. He is telling to someone who does not understand what is even accounting, what is taxation. And he said he is a very knowledgeable person. He is a person who knows everything. And most important thing, which I still remember, he is a person who has solution to all my problems. This itself was very fascinating for me. Prior to that, whenever I had been with my mom or dad to any doctor had fascinated me because I used to feel that doctors do magic. Because at that time, see again, visualize the scenario, not of today's when you are exposed to so many things, you have so much of content on social media, you have so many OTT platforms, so many channels. We did not have anything. In fact, channels only Doordarshan, no computers, forget about internet, anything. So he said he has problems for anything. He can solve all my problems. And that is why I've come over here. Fine. We were waiting. I was restless after 5 minutes. I said, why we have to wait so much? So he said, no, he is a very busy person and we have to take appointment to meet him. I asked that, what is appointment? He said that when you are going to meet a person who is very prestigious, you have to ask for that person's time, if that person is available, and if that person can give you time. I said, Acha. So now you have taken his time and you have come according to his time. Now, this itself for me was very big thing because otherwise my dad used to give people appointment and they used to come and meet him only when my dad was free. Here it was reverse. Also, strangely, I got to know that even for meeting that person, my dad had to pay some fees, some money. At that time, fees I did not understand, it was money. So these things were fascinating. But the best part where I developed that drive to also do the same thing, to also become the same thing what that person was today, whom we call as chartered accountants, is that when that person just passed from in front of us, my dad stood up and he folded his hands in namaste. So this itself was a fascinating thing, and more importantly, why? Because the person in front of my dad was much younger than my dad, and this itself gave me a different vibe. Prior to that, I had only known that people stand up whenever a doctor comes. Here, my dad stood up and also folded his hands. And then when went inside the cabin, it was the senior person. This was one of the junior CAs, but he was also handling my dad's work. Then when we went inside, the way that person was talking, whatever my dad asked, the person gave some answer and my dad noted. And by the end of the entire conversation, of which I understood nothing at all, I could see that my dad was very happy. My dad was very relaxed. Whatever tension, whatever burden he was carrying, it was totally completed. And at the end, the best part is the senior chartered accountant told my dad, you should not worry for such small things. Whenever you have such a problem, you can send me a letter. At that time, letters were common. Or you can even put me a phone call. Phone call means the old phone calls where people even did not used to have that instrument. So he just told this, and my dad felt even better. Oh, he has allowed me to make him a call. So that was the moment. So when I came out, when we were going in, since 1 or 2 days, I had seen my dad very much in a lot of tension, compiling many papers. And when we were leaving his office, my dad was so relaxed and he was talking to himself, saying, Ki, wow, मेरा तो काम हो गया, मेरा तो problem ही solve हो गया. These things had big impact on me as a child studying in standard 8, only knowing subjects like geography and economics also was not there. I think civics was there, then all the sciences, maths, etc. So I asked my dad ki you all were writing some numbers, so were you all doing maths? He said no, 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 it was accounts and income tax. Now I did not understand both. Next day when I came to my school, I asked my teacher ki when will you all teach me accounts, when will you all teach me something like some tax. So my teacher, again, see, understand this, as a student, as a child, you have great respect for your teachers, and you always feel that your teachers are the most knowledgeable person in the world. At least I had that feeling, and my teachers are. So when I asked my teacher ki, when you are going to teach us accounts and something, some tax, so the teacher, she was so frightened. No, 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 no. Tax I cannot teach. I don't understand tax. Accounts also is not possible. It is only done by experts. This again was a very wow and awe moment for me. Acha, oh bapre, so it is such a difficult subject. And she said, no, no, you cannot study it in schools. Such subjects are only taught when you go to college. And if you want to understand tax, you have to do some very, very difficult course. And then only you'll become, or you'll be able to understand that tax subject. So that was the awe moment for me. Ki, oh, so the subject is such that it cannot be even taught at the school level. So that was the time when I first had that thought, I first had that feeling, ki boss, I want to do CA. I want to become CA. And that was one of my driving forces, which brought me to the course, which gave me that fuel to even dare to do a course like CA without having any strong background, without having any classes at that time. So that is why I said you all have selected something which is extraordinary, which is not something which is common or a regular thing. So, students, I really congratulate you all because what you have selected is something not natural. Yeah. It is something out of this, you can say, uh, out of this globe. Like many times people say na, that a person who is very good says at maths is somebody like an alien. He is a person or she is a person from another planet. The person who can do maths very well or expert in maths are not people of earth. Similar is we chartered accountants. See, I don't know how much you all have heard about chartered accountants from others, but I've been in different domains. I'm very active in sports. I have a lot of inclination towards science. So I have many friends, groups where I keep on meeting people who are cross-functional. Cross-functional means not only belonging to our domain of commerce or taxation and accountancy. So over there, when I uh, tell them or introduce myself that, okay, I'm a chartered accountant, the expression that they have, the honest that they show on their feel, oh, you are a chartered accountant. Many times people just stand up hearing the word chartered accountant. So that is what is this course. Now, why you need to know what is this course? Because only when you know what is this course, you will be in a position to apply yourself to this course. See, CA does not demands you to be extraordinary scholar, what we used to call in schools, that these few people or these few kids are scholars, they are extraordinary intelligent. CA does not require that scholarly thing, but definitely it requires you to dedicate yourself, your complete you to this course. लाइक इन हिंदी भी से ना, तन मन धन से आपको काम करना है. फॉर्चुनेटली धन की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं है, बट डेफिनेटली you have to apply your entire you to this course. Once you do that, once you are able to dedicate, once you are able to completely devote your whole self, not only your time, it is you who has to be committed, who has to be devoted to this course. That is the right approach. Many times students ask, we will also discuss, sir, how to study, what is the right approach for exams. Before studying, before even exams, the first right or important approach that you should develop, that you should follow is you have to dedicate you to the course. You have to commit you to the course. You have to completely dissolve you in the core subjects. Do that, and I assure you, I guarantee you, passing is something. See, students, I'm sure as a student, even for me, passing was something very important. But what you will be benefited by this approach of dissolving, of committing you to this course, to the subjects, is something much, much greater. Because when you do this, what this course will give you, you cannot even imagine because you are not yet knowing what this course does. Before coming to CA, you would have only heard of CA or what CA does, maybe in some seminar, or maybe you may have just visited some of the CA offices. But that is where we do not get exposed to what a CA does. If somebody asks you what a pilot does, many people even know what pilot is doing, what studies, because you have so much on social media, you have so much on in movies, but it is very rarely shown ki what a CA is. No problem. Once you come into this field, once you go to articleship, you will see what a CA is. I always represent a CA by one single term, God of five subjects. So the single term is God. You become Sarve Sarva of five subjects, and these five subjects are those subjects on which entire business, entire economy, entire country is dependent. Without this, no business can function. Without this, no economist, no RBI governor, no SEBI director, no company law head, nobody can do anything. Not a single smallest business, which may be a proprietary or a family business, or the largest MNC can function without these five core subjects, and you become God of these five subjects. See, when I say God, it is a terminology which means the one who knows everything, the one who can do anything, the one who can grant any wish. That is the level, or that is the similarity. If I can give a similarity to a chartered accountant, it is God of five subjects. Fine, students. So keep this in mind. With this attitude, with this approach, you have to look at the course, you have to look at the subject. So, yes, very good morning, Tanmay. Very good morning, Rashmi, Ananya, Aditi. I hope my voice is clear now. Very good morning, Ajay. So, students, with this small background of the course, of how I first got introduced to the person called CA, I'm sure you also will have many such great experiences once you come across chartered accountants. Yes, very good morning, Prajot, Jash, Harsh.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Nikunj. Please tell me, beta.
No, sir. Sorry, I think my hand has been raised by mistake, sir.
No problem, beta.
No, sir.
Where are you from, Nikunj?
Sir, I'm from Mumbai.
Mumbai, which part, beta?
Mumbai, Kandivali.
Wow. I've
Sir.
been, I was in my childhood in Kalba Devi. Great.
Okay. Sure,
So, students, let us start. Now, the subject today that we are going to deal with is, so I want inputs from your side. I don't want that I should be teaching. I want that you should be contributing, because when you contribute, your focus is more, your understanding of the subject is greater, and the most important part, it is the starting point of expertising in the subject. So for that, you have to be 100% with me. You have to be completely dissolving yourself in the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever we will be discussing. So, students, let us start. Yes. Now, you have to keep answering me. You'll be answering either form of putting the answers in chat, or wherever required, you will raise your hand. I'll unmute you. You can answer directly. So, what is the subject that we are going to study today? So that is what we are going to do, beta. Mr. Ram R. Don't worry, you'll get everything. Acha, also, I request that whenever you all are putting any questions to me, try to put it not to me directly. I don't know whether it is allowed to you all, but try to put it commonly, so that others will also understand what you're asking, so that when I'm answering, it will be easy for others to comprehend and I don't have to repeat the entire question. Yes, beta Aditi.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, Aditi. Please tell me.
So today we are going to study cost and management accounting, chapter 1, which is the introduction for this chapter, cost and management accounting.
Okay, so just stay unmuted, because since we have started, let me have some questions to you. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, sure.
Now you said cost and management accounting, right? And many people, even in the chat box, have replied the same. There is everyone option not visible, sir. Okay, I'll request technical team to allow you to chat with everyone. Right now, it may be only with me, but then whatever questions you have, then better is you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you may ask me. Now, my question to everyone, including Aditi, who is there, and if anybody else wants, I can even unmute you. The name you have correctly pointed out, it means you all have seen your syllabus, which many people do not do. At least I did not do when I took admission. For me, even the names of the subjects were not known. But that's fine. At least it's good that many of you know the subject names, and it is rightly pointed out by Aditi and many of you that the subject that we are going to start is cost and management accounting. Okay. Then Aditi, did you, or by chance, has anybody told you that there is a subject called as costing also?
Yeah, so like if we are studying about cost and management accounting, so it is like a thing that yeah, in that we will of course study about costing.
So then I have a question. So if others, others also have to answer me parallelly, right? So if you are also having a subject like costing, and she just rightly pointed out that in this subject you will be studying costing also. So my first most important question from where we start the subject is costing and cost accounting. See, there are two subjects firstly in this, cost and management accounting. So be clear, you're not studying one subject, you are studying two subjects, cost and management accounting both. Now my question is costing, which also you all have heard of, and cost accounting the same?
No, sir. Like costing is something like it helps to see. First of all, costing is something like it is a process of calculating the cost and knowing the cost, that how much cost a company or a business is making. And cost accounting is something in which we apply some accounting principles, some methods of accounting while doing the costing side by side. So cost accounting is something in which we apply some principles or methods or techniques of accounting, and in costing, it is a process of knowing the cost or calculating the cost.
Okay. Chalo, anybody else would like to add? You may still remain unmuted, Beta, if you want. Okay,
Yes, sir, sure.
Arpita has raised hand. Yes, Arpita, I'm also, I don't know, I can parallelly unmute multiple people. Uh, yes, Arpita.
So, very good morning, sir. So, I have a
Sorry, your
question.
voice is very low, Beta. Arpita,
Okay, just a minute, sir.
kindly increase the volume.
Am I audible now?
Better, but
Yeah.
still it is low, but I'll try to manage. Tell me.
Okay. So, sir, cost accounting, in my view, is like something where you're accounting principle and calculating different kinds of cost. Let's just say your total in cost, variable cost, or per head cost, for example.
Hmm.
And in costing, I think we are taking those you know amounts, those costs, to make something more, like to get the idea of the whole thing, like how do we separate these and these, like एक कंपनी का एक बजट होता है जिसमें वो प्लान करते हैं फ्यूचर के लिए कि हाँ हमें
Okay.
एक साल में कितना बजट स्पेंड करना है। तो कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग में उसको डिवाइड कर रहे हैं कि हाँ हमें मतलब इनपुट्स पे हमारा इतना लगाना है, इन्वेंट्री पे इतना, और फाइनल गुड्स के लिए हमें इतना स्पेंड करना है, या फिर आउटपुट से एडवर्टीजमेंट पे कोस्टिंग में वो
Great.
सबको टोटल करके लेके जा रहे हैं कि हमारा यहाँ पे ये लगा, यहाँ पे ये लगा, सो हमारा फाइनल प्रोडक्ट का अमाउंट ये होगा।
Okay. Yes, Harshal.
Good morning, sir.
Good
First of
morning.
all, I said costing is a process where we doing the calculate the cost as per elements of a factory overheads and other overheads regarding to that particular manufacturing production units. Am I right? Calculate the unit wise cost.
Right now, nobody's right or wrong. Go ahead.
Okay. सो कॉस्टिंग ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जिसमें कैलकुलेट करते हैं यूनिट वाइज ऑफ अ प्रोडक्शन और वैल्यू ऑफ दैट एंड अ मटेरियल जो भी रॉ मटेरियल है उसकी कॉस्टिंग एंड कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग इज मीन दैट ही दैट इज द कॉस्टिंग इज अ प्रोसेस वेयर यू प्रेजेंट द कॉस्टिंग इनटू द अकाउंटिंग मैनर. Okay,
Hmm.
in a present way, like apply our also the standard of that accounting standard principles and provisions regarding to that costing accounting
Okay.
subject.
Okay. Understood. Yes, Maithili.
Sir, from my point of view, cost accounting and costing is different or same is the secondary matter. But basically, cost accounting is day-to-day operations. We will record the books. That's why I'm understanding. That is under the different heads are there, factory overhead and other overhead. These are there. Uh, so cost accounting is a day-to-day operations. We will record the books.
And what about costing, not day-to-day operation?
Yes, sir. We need to file all the day-to-day operations in the books of accounts.
Okay. Great. So I have some answers in the chat box also. Yes, very rightly pointed out by Amit, the difference. So now I will not only teach you because this subject is new. So uh, I'll not teach you what it is. I'll try to give you the feel of what the subject is. Also, I'll try to give you the approach how you should study or look at any new subject, any new concept like this. The name itself is a concept, right? Lohit. Okay. Okay, Prajot. Fine. Good. Good. Now see, in English, you have something called as a verb. So I'm slightly taking you to grammar for a minute. So we have nouns, we have verbs, we have adjectives. Now, whenever any verb is followed by this ing, so verb in Hindi is a kriya. So whenever it is followed by ing, it means doing that, correct? So if I'm saying costing, or okay, costing is still father of. if I'm saying eat, which is a verb, and I write ing. If I say study, which is again a verb, and I write ing, what it means I'm talking about the process of doing that. So eat is a kriya in Hindi grammar, or in English it is a verb. And when I write ing, I am saying that I'm doing that activity. Kriya means activity. Similarly, study is an activity, but when I write ing, I am trying to say now I'm in the process. I'm doing that activity. Now, once you understand this, now decode this word cost and ing. So, what is costing? It is the process of, for the time being, I'm writing very vague or very basic words. We will go to the technical part. It is the process of doing cost, because ing means the process, going through the process. Now, cost is some amount. Hence, saying that doing cost in English will be incorrect because cost is an amount. So, I'll change this word. So, what will be the activity if cost is some amount? It will be the process of calculating, because our cost is an amount. So, when I say I'm doing that amount, so saying doing that amount is incorrect, I'll say I'm calculating the amount. So, what is costing? Costing is the process by which you calculate that amount, which is called as cost. What is cost? We are yet to come to that. But I'm first starting with the name of the subject itself. The very basic thing in any subject that you should know is what the name stands for. Now we come to the other concept, which is the name embedded in the name of the paper, that is cost accounting and management accounting. So what is now cost accounting? Again, cost is some amount. What that amount is, what it represents, we are going to discuss after this. But now it is having another whole complete word called as accounting. Again, accounting has ing. So again, firstly, we talk about only accounting. It is the process of, again, we should write doing accounts, right? But again, doing accounts is not the right word. And now, since you all know accounts, I will use the right word. So it is the process of maintaining accounts. Now, interestingly, you know what is accounts. Accounts is that um, set of books, set of various type of recordings whereby you record your financial transactions, and the entire process of accounts, which is accounting, starts with recording. Then further what you do is analyzing. Then further what you do is there are different words. I'm sure by now you all have got the definition. You are recalling the definition of accounts, right? So it is recording, analyzing, classifying, summarizing, and all this ends with the last step, which is reporting. Now, interestingly, when you do all this for financial data, it becomes accounts, or it is called as accounting, that is doing this whole process. But when you do all this data for, or all this, sorry, steps for cost data, that whole process becomes cost accounting. So it is the process of, now you all know accounting, so I'm writing accounting. It is the process of accounting. What is accounting? Recording, classifying, summarizing, etc. And it is accounting of what? Of that data, that amount, which is cost. Now, interestingly, in both these definitions, since the word cost is there, we feel they are same, but there is a big difference. in costing, you will be able to find out, you will be able to know your cost, because here you will be calculating. And then this cost, which you have calculated by running the process called as costing, that cost, now you will record, analyze, classify, summarize to finally get the cost reports. Like how you have financial reports in the form of trading account, manufacturing account, profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, fund flow statement. Now this cash flow fund flow you'll be studying here. So you have these financial reports as the end result of the accounting process, which is of financial accounting. On similar lines, the cost accounting process ends with giving you the cost reports. What are those reports? That you'll get to know in due course of time, right? So this is how both these concepts are related and also how they are different. Now there is an interesting question. What will happen first? If they are related, there has to be some linkage. So what will happen first? As of now, what appears till now, as per our discussion, whatever we have had, what appears is that first you will do costing and you will get the cost, and this cost you will take to accounting and you will do recording, classifying to get the final cost reports. So what appears is that first we do costing and then we do accounting. This is 100% correct. But as we will progress, you will realize that it is cyclical. Because when I go to year number 2, like for example, now we all are planning budgeting for the next financial year. In fact, even the government is going to present its budget on 1st of Feb for the next financial year. Similarly, when I will start doing costing for the next financial year, I will require some basis, I'll require some data. What or from where will I get this data and what would be these bases? That I will take from past years' cost accounting records. That is where cost accounting will help in costing, and then whatever costing you have done, that data will help in doing accounting of the next financial year when it starts. So both are having a cyclical relation. But let us not get into that. That is very theoretical, but just for your understanding. Now coming to the most important point, because what you are going to calculate in costing is cost, and what you are going to record, classify, analyze, and convert into reports is also cost. So the question is, what exactly is cost? I already said when I was explaining here, that cost is some amount, but it is what? Again here, I will require your inputs. I'm asking a question, exactly what is cost? Okay, I have 2 hands, but I'll wait for some new faces so that I can allow some new person to answer. So I think I'll start with Arpita first. Yes, Arpita, what according to you is cost? Arpita is not getting unmuted. Yes, Arpita.
So very good morning, sir. I
Good morning.
think as per the cost is like the amount that we are spending on something. Let's just say if we are talking about inputs, like your the cost that we are incurring on our inputs, so we can say uh, the amount that we are spending on our inputs, that is all cost
Okay, chalo. So I have
or
written
in,
what you have said. So amount spent on something. Good. Yes. How do you spell your name, beta? Guduri Teja. Am I right?
Yeah, Teja.
So your name is Teja?
Yes, Teja.
Okay, Teja, tell me.
Uh, uh,
cost is nothing but the price which was fixed for a particular product uh, based on the income levels of a particular person in the situations.
So if I understand your meaning, you mean to say that cost is the price of a product, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. Yes. Rashmi, Regan,
Yes, sir. Good morning.
good morning.
Sir,
Tell me.
cost is a expense of something receiving area producing.
So you said expense of something, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, Regan.
Good morning, sir. Cost is value of something. Uh,
So it is value of something.
yes, sir.
Okay. Chalo, Nikhil.
Sir, cost we can say amount spent on production of any good or acquiring anything.
Okay. Amount spent on. So you're basically saying this only, but you have added words like production or acquiring something. Okay, fine. ठीक है. Now I have the earlier ones. I'm unmuting you. So I'm adding one more question because you have a question, what is cost? Plus I have a question to this. In all of these answers, people have used the word something. People have used the word product. So whether cost is something that is whatever it is, whatever you want to say, amount, price, whatever, of goods only, or it can be also of service. So you have to answer both cost also, and whether it is only of goods or can it be also of service. Yes, Harshal, Aditi.
The amount is required to something which included goods, services,
So can I
and
say?
So you mean to say it can be of both, right?
yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes, Aditi.
So cost is something like it is a kind of a we can say a resource or the money in which we give up this money in exchange of some goods or services.
Okay, so it is something like the purchase price you are saying, right?
Yeah, in exchange of anything good or services.
Correct. Okay, so Shmita.
Yes, sir. So according to me, cost should be something where it could be either money also as well as time spent on that also. Say like
Okay,
example, we are paying salaries and all. So that also will get included in cost of a product or service.
but you are saying like what will be included in cost, right? So your
Yeah.
perspective of explanation is what will be included.
Yes.
Good, good. Okay, point taken. I'll now take up this. Maybe whoever is left, I'll give you opportunity in the next question. So all of you are correct. See, this is many times students ask me, you whenever you study a subject, there are so many definitions. There are many times very uh, slightly not understanding answers or pointers. Why? Because see, everybody has a different way of expressing themselves. This is the best example what you have just saw. So all are correct. So you all have given me different perspective of looking at and understanding cost. Correct. Now understand this. What is cost? So cost is, you'll have used the word amount, price, value, expense. Everything is correct. If I have to go by the simplest understanding of cost, see, cost is something which is your day-to-day life thing. Now, this is interesting. Subjects of costing and subjects of financial management. These two subjects, when you are studying, interesting thing is you don't have to go to any technical example to understand them. They are around you. They are something which you are practicing, which you are using, which you are yourself actually doing daily. Only now it is codified into a subject. So if you want to understand this subject, I had used the word, I would like to try to give you the feel of the subject. This you can do by simply looking at your day-to-day life things from where this subject comes. So I'll try to give that. Understand this. In our day-to-day life, we use the word cost. How? The very simple thing, cost of living, cost of education. These are the real life things which you have been using. Now, when I'll go a step further after 2 minutes, you will even know that you have been doing costing also in real life. Only what you did not do is cost accounting, but that is okay. Accounting you studied in 11th standard only. Prior to that, you did not know accounting. So in real life, you have not done accounting of anything, whether of financial or of cost, but you have even done costing. Before that, what is cost? Cost, I gave you two very simple real life terminologies where you have used this word, you have heard this word cost, cost of living, cost of education. And normally we say that nowadays this is very costly, uh, education has become very costly, etc. What we are trying to say is that the expense on education is very high. So when we say cost of something, we are trying to refer to, pay attention, the expenses, right? Now, what is very interesting is you all have identified one thing very correctly, that cost is not independent concept. It is linked with something. So when I have to use this word cost, which means expenses, you can call it as a amount, but the more proper word is expense. You'll always call an expense as your cost, not any other amount. Only what is spent by you, that only will be called as cost. Keep this in mind. So cost will be something which you are spending. So that is why I'm using the more appropriate word expense. Most interesting thing is you have always used the word on, off, means it has a linkage with something. I'm using a technical word first. If this word is heavy, I'll use a simpler word for the time being. Expenses related to. Now, since we are studying this subject from the perspective of a business, like all your subjects, accounting, financial management, taxation, everything has a linkage with business or commercial activity. So I'm giving you here the concept of cost linked to something commercial. So whenever we talk about cost in commercial world, it will be either of your products, that is goods, or your services, or any activity that you are undertaking. So what is cost? Cost is nothing but the amount you are spending, that is expenses, but most important, all expenses are not cost. Only those expenses which you can link, which you can relate with something. And what this something is the goods, is the services, or any activity. So it is so simple because we have been using this in our day-to-day life. So what is cost? Cost is expenses attributable to something. Now, I'll give you the real life feel of costing because as I said, you have done this. I'll give you the most simplest example of where you have done this costing in real life. Whenever you friends have planned a day out or maybe 2, 3 days out, where let us say you are traveling to a place which is some 300 kilometers away. Let us say you are going to have 2 nights halt over there. So let us, for the time being, just take an example. You friends or maybe family have or are not have are planning to go on a trip. Where this trip is, let us say the trip is to one of the beaches, which is 200, 300 kilometers from your place. And you all friends are planning this trip. Now, this will include a 2 days halt around that beach place. It will include certain water sports. It will also include some sightseeing. Now, when you are planning for this trip, one of the most important aspects of this planning is the cost. The first thing Interestingly, pay attention. I'm giving you a very simple real life exposure, not exposure, sorry, realization, because you already have the exposure of costing. So if you tell your friends, ki, chalo yaar, this is a very good season, the climate is good, it is pleasant, let us go for 2 days trip, maybe to some hill station, some beach, some resort, whatever. The first thing that people will ask you, अरे यार कितना खर्चा आएगा? And now even you use this word cost, कि यार क्या cost आएगा? So what one of you all will do, कि chalo, let me prepare something which is technically called as cost sheet. Maybe you all were not knowing, but you all have done this. What is a cost sheet? A sheet. Sheet means a piece of paper which show details of cost. Simple. Now, what you all have done? See, try to recall whenever you have experienced this. What you all did? You listed out the expenses. That is why cost is nothing but your expense. You listed out the expense that you expect to incur. Now, when you are listing out this expense, you will only take those expenses which are related to this particular activity of going on for a trip. So, traveling, food, stay, then maybe entry passes wherever required, etc. Let us say over there, if you will be going for some movie, then movie tickets. If you are going for some play or something, tickets for that, entry passes, whatever. This gives you total cost. You all have done, everybody of you have done. Even if not, then now you'll understand. If today I ask you to do this, you'll do the same thing. This is exactly what we do in costing. Costing is nothing different. Nothing different at all. What is the first step? You identify what expenses are related, are attributable to this activity. You identify. Then after identifying, the second thing is you quantify. What you quantify? Like for traveling, now you have to find out the amount. So you have to quantify how many kilometers, what will be the per kilometer charge. Plus, if we are going to stay there for 2 days, I have to give to the driver something extra as the daily allowance. So you quantify, and on that basis, you value, you find out the amount. Food, how many people are there? You quantify roughly what will be the per head cost. If let us say you are going for a fixed plate. If not, then averagely per head, you expect 400 to 500 in one meal, multiply by 2, 3 meals, and so on. Stay. Again, how many people are traveling? So how many rooms we will require? You quantify. Then you inquire what will be the per room charge. You value. And by this step, identify, quantify, value, you get to know your total cost. What you have done is costing. The piece of paper, because you write it on piece of paper, because tomorrow you have to show it to others, even you have to discuss with others. This piece of paper is technically called as cost sheet. That thing for which you did costing, here that thing is the activity. Mind my words, I'm giving you now the technical words. That thing, which may be a product, a service, or activity for which you have done this costing, that thing is called as your cost object. See, we have understood cost. We have understood costing, cost sheet, cost object with one simple example, right? So I have some hand raises. I assume they have doubts. So I'm unmuting Aditi. Regan, you also have doubt?
Yes.
Yes, Aditi, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I wanted to ask that as you told that all the expenses are not cost, but can we say that all the cost are the expenses?
Obviously, so that is your favorite sentence of economics, na?
But sir, one more thing which comes in my mind, that expenses are more related to day-to-day operations of a business, and cost is more related to kind of a production or some kind of a raw materials acquiring and
So,
something
so
like
that is
that.
why you want to say that the expenses which are related to day-to-day business will not be cost. Is it what you are trying to land to?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, it is a good point, but first I'll give you straightforward answer. But how my answer is correct, that I'll justify, but not now because this is slightly technical. I want to take you all from your day-to-day life to technical. So first answer is it is also cost. Why, how? That maybe I'll tell you either by the end of today's session or just remind me in any further sessions. But I'm sure you'll get the answer yourself as we proceed, right? But the straightforward answer is it is included, so it is also cost. Fine?
Okay, fine. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Yes, Harshal.
सर कॉस्ट जो होते हैं वो एक्सपेंस से रिलेटेड होते हैं, एम आई राइट?
इट इज दी एक्सपेंस, वो एक्सपेंस ही होती है। जो आप एक्सपेंस करते हो उसी एक्सपेंस को हम कॉस्ट बोलते हैं। पर कब कॉस्ट बोलते हैं? जब आपको पहले सबसे पहली चीज कॉस्टिंग करते वक्त आपको ये देखना है कि आपको किसका कॉस्टिंग करना है। किसी प्रोडक्ट का, किसी सर्विस का, या किसी एक्टिविटी का।
या
आपको जिसका
बट
कॉस्टिंग करना है वो कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है। पहले आप ये ढूंढो, बिना इसके आप कॉस्टिंग नहीं कर सकते। अगर मैं
हाँ
आपको बोलूंगा कि अच्छा चलो हर्षल मुझे कॉस्टिंग करके दो, आपका सबसे पहला सवाल क्या होगा? सर किसका करना है? तो मैं
हाँ
बोलूंगा
यस
अच्छा ये मेरा प्रोडक्ट है, मैं ये जो पेन बना के बेच रहा हूँ मुझे इसका कॉस्टिंग करना है। ये मेरा मोबाइल है, मुझे इसका कॉस्टिंग करना है। जब तक मैं आपको कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं बताऊंगा आप कॉस्टिंग नहीं कर सकते। अब मैंने आपको कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट बता दिया, वो क्या है भाई? हमें ट्रिप पे जाना है, तो हमारा आज का कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है ट्रिप, जो कि एक एक्टिविटी है। आप मुझे इस एक्टिविटी का कॉस्टिंग करके दो। फिर आप क्या करोगे? आप उस एक्टिविटी के लिए होने वाले एक्सपेंसेस आइडेंटिफाई करोगे। सो नाउ आई कम टू योर पॉइंट। एक्सपेंसेस जो आपके एक्टिविटी से, आपके कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड है, दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉस्ट। अब इसमें आपका क्या डाउट है, बोलो।
Sir, one doubt is there.
One second, Maithili,
Uh,
1 second. I've just unmuted you, but remain unmuted. Let me complete Harshal. Yes, Harshal, is your doubt clear, beta?
या सर, डाउट ऑलरेडी क्लियर सर.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yes, Maithili.
Sir, as you said, cost is related to production of goods and something or services or product. But in this case, you put food and everything day-to-day expenses, mobile or everything. But I'm doubt is production means starting level of producing goods and work in progress, then finished goods. This is the only cost. I think. Is this correct, sir?
So it means indirectly what I understood is you mean to say that after production is complete, whatever expenses are incurred should not be cost. Is it what you are trying to say?
No, no, sir. During production and after the production and before the production, the raw material and work in progress, then finished goods. These are the come from cost, or all the expenses are comes under cost.
That's why I'm saying. So this is cost. So what is the all other expenses which you have a doubt? Because you are clear about this raw material and everything, you are clear. Now, when you are saying
Okay.
all the other costs, what are the all the other expenses you are talking about? Because that is where your doubt is.
Yes, sir.
Which, which other expenses you are talking about where you have a doubt?
You mentioned the food story and car entry
See,
passes.
in,
That's
in
all.
this activity, this is you are going for a trip. For a trip, you will
Okay.
incur traveling. You'll incur expenses on food for stay because you are going for 2 nights. Then the entry passes, then maybe some tickets of some movie theater. Whatever expenses are attributable or related is what is cost. Are these not all related to your
Oh,
activity of trip? Yes, na? So all these are
yes,
cost.
sir.
Why we are limiting ourselves to production? I have not said that only production will be cost.
Yes, yes,
That is somebody said
yes.
I have written.
Services and
Cost
activity
is
also
much
used.
wider. I have see that is why firstly, what is the object? Now let us say tomorrow I am going even for product costing. Whether product costing will include only the manufacturing cost? No, not only manufacturing. It is, see, what is the definition? In fact, if you go to your module, this is the definition of module itself. But I have not yet taken you
Okay.
to the technical definition. I wanted you all to give you the real feel of the subject. So the technical definition
Okay.
says any expense which is related. So it can be any, it is not only confined to manufacturing or production, right?
Yes, sir. If
Clear?
it's from my understanding, it's like income tax, which is all the income is not taxable under same head. It is taxable under different heads of income. That's in that way the cost also all expenses are
No, no, no.
recorded, and it is according to under separate head is there.
It
Correct,
is
sir?
head. See, correct. I agree to this that when we will go in detail technical part of costing, you'll find that costs are also divided into heads. But like how in your income, ultimately you pay tax on total income by adding up all the heads of income. Similar thing in costing, whatever are the different heads like production costs, administration costs, you'll add up everything and the total of
Yes.
everything will be your total cost. Same like income only. Na? So if you're comparing it with income,
Yes,
then
sir.
also what you do in income tax is also happening here. We will be dividing the
Mm-hmm.
cost in different heads for better classification. But then how cost will get, you'll add up all the heads of cost. That will be total cost. Same like income
Mm.
tax.
Yes, sir.
And
Understood.
production is one of the heads, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Clear students till this point? Chalo. Now I'll give you a more closer feel to this subject of costing. So I given you a feel, but I will increase the level of feel. How? Now you have to do costing. What is your cost object? It is your yesterday's dinner. Whatever you all had in food, you can write it down here. So maybe you had chapati, maybe you had dal, maybe you had rice, and you had different veggies. Whatever. Somebody had curd, somebody had some sweets, somebody had soup, whatever you had. So your yesterday's dinner. Now this is your cost object, correct? Now I give you around 5-7 minutes. You have to actually in your notebooks list down. What list down? See, this is the step. Identify expenses which are related to this cost object. Maybe you can quantify if you want, but that is not very important. Valuation, I don't want at all. So I don't want to get into calculations today. Today we are at the conceptual stage. So you identify, this is the most important thing. So I want you to list down the names of expenses because this is where you will have the real feel, real realization, right? Maybe if you want, you can quantify by putting the quantity of the expense, but I don't want the valuation part. ठीक है? So I give you now it is 8:03, 8:10. I will discuss. Fine. Chalo, your time starts now. ठीक है. So if you all have identified, let us discuss, let us understand what this costing is. So remember, what you are preparing is a cost sheet, right? It is a sheet like how we have balance sheet where you put down all the balances. So here it is cost sheet. Okay. I want you all to put in the chat items other than material that you have listed out. I don't want material because material would be n number of items that I will be putting here, plus and minus few things depending upon who had what. So I have Lohit and I have Karan who have put something. I want others to put things, but other than material, like other than flour or vegetables or the raw dal, other than this. Okay, Nikunj has put something. Cinema. Maithili, how's cinema here? Very good, Sushmita. This is what I'm looking for. In fact, when you had spoken about cost, you were in fact more referring to these items only. So good. Very good, Ram. This is what I'm looking for. Maithili, see again, shopping is what? You shop for certain items. So that is anyways covered in material. So you cannot say shopping. So material is covered. Like raw dal, raw rice, raw vegetables, all this is covered. Yes, raw things are covered. I don't want things, Arthur. So you said rice, fish, fine, but raw is covered. I don't want things. Give me list other than things. Rashmi, you have listed out all things only, except the last one. Very good, Dhruv. Very good, Amit. Yes, Navneeta Krishnan. Good. Yes, Amit. Good. Shrilaksha, I think. mm, okay,
Uh,
fine.
Mr.
Majorly it is good.
Vishal, Dr. Sengupta this side.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning. In between, when you will have time, I will just take 5 minutes to brief about the subject.
Sir,
To
you
the
can take it now, sir, because I'm taking a practical thing, sir. Maybe if you are present, you can take it now, sir,
yeah.
please.
Okay. Thank you very
Student,
much.
just stop for 5 minutes. We'll continue after sir's discussion on the subject. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, a technical team, I hope my video is also coming. Yeah. So good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to this session of Cost and Management Accounting. CA Bishal Poddar, who is a very experienced faculty member who is teaching this subject for a long time, and he is guiding you various aspect of this particular subject. Few things, please note that uh, uh, this subject is a practical subject which also requires the conceptual clarity. So it's a combination of concepts as well as practicing many questions, as much question as possible. There are, what I will say, things which you need to be very, very clear while attempting the question. So your subject, your syllabus is divided into 4 parts. The first part, in which you have the basic concept of costing as well as the cost sheet. Then the second part, you have the material, labor, overhead, activity-based costing, and integrated, non-integrated costing. Then in the third part, all the methods of costings are there, like job costing, process costing, batch costing, then joint product, byproduct. Contract costing is not part of your syllabus. Once again, I may tell you. And then in the last part, the standard costing, marginal costing, and budgetary control, which is very, very important. So these are the four division of your syllabus. And the paper structure what we get now is that obviously there is 30 marks of question, which is MCQ based. There will be two MCQ of 10 marks each, five question in two of the case studies, and then 5 independent case studies, where case lets basically 2 marks each, so total 30 marks is there. And in the subjective one, then there will be various descriptive questions will be there. So 5 plus 4, so 14 marks, and then the other questions of 14 marks also will be there. So 30 and 70, and the last question we generally see the theoretical question which comes. And as per the weightage and as per the given syllabus what you have, you should be preparing thoroughly for each and every topic. And in the beginning only, I can tell you that you should give importance to all the topic, not a particular topic. So that's very, very important. Okay. And in between, my colleague is also there, CMA. Various faculty members will be coming and talking to you regarding this particular subject. So anytime you have any query, the BUS always will be there to give their support and to clarify any of your query, right? So these are my basic things. Obviously, if you have any question, you can always ask. And I will hand over now to CA Vishal once again. Thank you, CA Vishal, for taking this particular class and helping the students. You may kindly continue.
Thank you, sir. I think some students have raised hand. I don't know whether it is for you because some like Ketan raised the hand just now. So I'll just unmute him if by chance he has a question for you. Maithili
Yeah,
also
sure,
raised.
sure.
Ketan,
Hello.
yeah,
Sir, am I audible?
you're audible, beta.
Good morning, sir. Sir,
Good
I
morning.
was having a doubt. Like, during the live classes, we can ask doubt to our faculties. So,
Yes, yes.
while solving problems, it is not possible that the doubts which are coming, each and every doubt I can ask on the live classes. It will waste time of other students as well as the faculty. So in BOS app, there is a option given as ask your query. Over there, we can ask.
There is an email ID, beta. There is an email ID, and
Yes,
I'll
sir.
request you to pass on that email ID. Always you can send that email.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, live you can raise your hand and you can ask the query to the faculty member. Otherwise, you can send your query through email as well.
No, over in BOS app, there is a option given as ask your query.
You
Over
can
there, we
ask.
can ask.
Yes, yes. You can ask. You can ask.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, my doubt is, as you explained 4 categories of cost accounting, can you once again repeat that, sir?
Initially, the introduction part and the cost sheet part. This is the first part, 10 to 15%. And then there is material, labor, overhead, activity-based costing, and integrated, non-integrated. That's the second part. The third part is all the methods of costing, job costing, batch costing, process costing, joint product, byproduct, everything will be coming. And there I specifically told that contract is not part of syllabus. It used to be once. And then in the
What
last part,
is not part, sir? What is
contract
what the
costing,
thing?
contract.
Contract costing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
2 3 years back it was there, so in some of the materials still or some of the book you may find it, but please, it is not part of your syllabus. And the last
Yes,
part, it
sir.
is standard costing, marginal costing, and budgetary control,
Yes, sir.
right? So
Thank
these
you,
are
sir.
the four segments.
Yes, sir.
And do a lot of practice for the case scenario questions. There are questions in the BOS portal also, so do practice all those questions of BOS scenario, right, beta?
I think
Is
she
it
has gone
fine?
on mute. I think she has gone on mute, sir.
Okay, 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 okay. You may carry on, sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And thank you. Mayank is also there. Thank you, Mayank.
Sir, Aditi has raised her hand. If by chance, I don't know.
Yeah,
Acha.
yeah, yeah.
No, she
There are.
has lowered her hand also. Fine. Okay. Sir, I think doubts are clear of
No
students.
problem. If anything comes, we'll take it up. No problem.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please carry on.
Yes, students. So getting back to our practical example. Acha, Aditi, I think you have doubt for me. Tell me.
No, sir, not a doubt, but the answer, like you have asked the questions, I wanted to answer that.
Please,
That
please.
yes, sir. So you were asking about the cost object. So I wanted to answer about that. Like cost object is anything for which the cost is measured separately. Like it can be a product, or it can be in product. We can say something like for a smartphone, or something like for a tablet or a laptop, or something like in an automobile sector, like some cars or something like that. So for that, we used to measure the cost separately. And for any kind of a like a project, like the government used to do like many projects, like the metro project or the road project or something like that. So for that also, the cost which is incurred, so that is the cost object for that. So that's what I thought.
Perfect, perfect. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. So now, students, I am listing out. Now, see, I will not be exhaustively covering each and everything, but just broadly, so that you'll understand ki what exactly is cost sheet. And as just Sen Gupta sir named certain things like material, labor, overheads, now you'll get the real feel of those things, ki what exactly is these items from this example. So our cost object is dinner. I was going through the chat box. Somebody asked me, ki, sir, please
Also,
re-explain. Yes, sir.
sir, also, the students should be very clear about the difference between cost object and cost center.
Yes, sir.
I think that is also another very important thing. And my
Yes,
dear
sir.
students, 70 to 80% of your subject is practical. That is knowledge level 2. Okay, and 20 to 30% is your theoretical question. So level 1, level 2 is there. So that also you should keep in your mind. So this is basically a practical paper. Only last question and few of the question comes as a theoretical question, and the first chapter is one of them from where generally the theoretical question comes.
Fine, sir.
Carry on, sir. Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you. So, in your answers, you have had written this rice, dal, flour, vegetables, all this the raw form. Then oil, ghee, water, spices. Now, what is more interesting to me? So there could be list of items which are materials, which are things that you would have purchased and that would have you would have consumed most importantly in yesterday's dinner. Now coming to some important things which few of you have very beautifully brought out. See, you required the efforts also for converting this into your final product. So you had this is your final product, which is the cost object, that is yesterday's dinner. So yesterday's, just visualize the dinner plate, the food that you had yesterday, that is the cost object. So cost object is that thing which may be your goods or the service which you are giving, like we chartered accountants are giving service. So for me, my cost object, my product is the service, consulting service, accounting service, auditing service which I'm giving. So it may be, I'm explaining cost object because somebody has asked this particular question. So what is cost object? It may be my product, it may be my service, or it may be any activity for which costing is done. Right now, I'm taking example of a product, which is your yesterday's dinner. So yesterday when you had dinner, whatever you had in your dinner, we are trying to practically understand costing for that. Now in that, I've listed out all the things. There could be a number of things, but I've just broadly taken few of them just as an example. So maybe you would have had other things also, and that is correct. Second most important thing which I want to highlight is efforts. Efforts of three things. First is the cooking efforts. then the serving, also the planning, managing everything, right? And then comes something which two of you have identified. See, only with your material and only with efforts, that thing cannot be complete. You require even facilities. Now, in facilities, you first require your entire kitchen area. Then you require all the kitchen equipments. You require some gadgets like fridge, microwave. Then you require utensils, both cooking, serving, both. Now, these all things I call as facilities. Now, please understand, I have purposefully written it in a sequence because now from this generic example, I want to take you all to the technical example. Now, if you observe this broadly, your cost is made up of three elements. Those expenses which are in the nature of certain things, let me call them as material. Those expenses which are in the nature of human effort, let me call them as labor. And those expenses which are spent on creating the facilities, let me call them as expenses. Now, within material, this is raw material and this is consumables. So raw material is something which gets converted to final product. Consumables are those things which help converting the raw material to final product, and in this process they will get consumed up in your final product. So consumables do not convert to final product as it is, but they are required in the process of, like here cooking, you will require oil, ghee, water, and which will be used in cooking to help the process of cooking and converting the raw into final product. Then you require the human effort, which is called as labor, where cooking is involved, serving is involved, later on cleaning of utensils and the entire kitchen is involved, and also the planning, managing everything is involved. And then last is you require facilities. Let us say in your accounting language, you require assets, the place, the machines, the furniture, the computers, the motor vehicles, all these things you require. And on these facilities, either if you have purchased them, you will have depreciation, or if you have taken on rent, you will have their rent or higher charges, plus the maintenance, the recurring expense, all these are expense. Now, if you observe, these three are three independent and different elements. So material is all the things that you will buy, you will purchase. Out of physical things, the one which will be used in your final product or final service will be material. The things which you keep and keep on using again and again, those may also be physical things like your assets, your machines, but they will not come in material because you will not consume them completely. Like here, I have consumed these items completely in my final product. So what will be in material? Those physical items which will be consumed completely in your final product or in your final service. Whereas those physical items like the place, like the factory, like the godown, this is a physical thing. Maybe you have purchased it or rented it, that is a different question. Then all the machines, all the equipments, the motor vehicles, the computers, the mobile phones, all these are some material things only, but they do not come in material. Why? Because they are like assets which you will be using again and again, again and again. So you incur expenses on them in the form of depreciation, repairs, rent, maintenance. Like I just, if I take you to P&L, all the debit items of P&L is nothing but what makes up the cost. Yes, there are few items which will not make up the cost, But the simplistic thing to understand costing is go to the trading P&L debit side. And in debit side, you will find these three things only. Over there, purchases are your materials. Over there, wages, salary, directors' remuneration, all this is labor. And remaining everything, rent rates, printing stationery, advertisement, depreciation, all these are expenses for facilities. Any questions up to this point? Because now I'm converting this real life situation to the technical cost sheet format. But the feel which I wanted to give you is what is costing, you have been doing. I gave you the example of planning for a trip. You have done that. You have already calculated cost till now multiple times for different activities. Now we are getting technical, trying to understand cost more from the perspective of goods and services. So anybody, any questions up to this point? Yes, Harshal, I have unmuted you.
हाँ सर, मुझे ये पूछना था कि पहले आपने मटेरियल, लेबर और एक्सपेंसेस ये आइडेंटिफाई किया, देन क्वांटिफाई करेंगे, राइट? और क्वांटिफाई करके उसको पर यूनिट वैल्यू, मतलब पर क्वांटिटी ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर, जैसे रॉ राइस एक्सेट्रा, सो उसको हम टोटलिंग करेंगे ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट, फॉर एग्जांपल रॉ राइस,
Exactly.
तो क्वांटिफाई क्वांटिटी ऑफ दैट देन इनटू द प्राइस ऑफ दैट यूनिट,
करेक्ट। तो आपको
देन
यहाँ का टोटल अमाउंट मिलेगा, क्योंकि सी अल्टीमेटली आपको कॉस्ट शीट में आपके टोटल खर्चे लिखोगे हर चीज के, तभी तो
राइट।
उसका टोटल करके आपको टोटल कॉस्ट पता चलेगा। मगर हम ये स्टेप पे फिलहाल नहीं जा रहे, क्योंकि वो
ओके
करने के लिए वो आज का पर्पस नहीं, आज का पर्पस कॉन्सेप्चुअल पार्ट है, राइट? सो आई एम
कॉन्सेप्ट।
फॉर द टाइम बीइंग जस्ट कीपिंग दिस साइड असाइड, बट जस्ट आई वांटेड टू इन्फॉर्म यू ताकि आपको पूरा पिक्चर क्लियर हो कि कॉस्टिंग कैसे होता है, राइट?
Yeah, entire procedure.
यस, दिस इज
Okay,
क्लियर,
sir.
बट वी आर ओनली ऑन द कॉन्सेप्चुअल पार्ट.
Okay, sir, understood.
So, students, cost is made up of three components, three elements: the material element, the labor element, and the expense element. Now I go further in detail. Each of these elements are of two types: direct material, indirect material, direct labor, indirect labor, direct expense, indirect expense. अब क्या होता है? So basically all your expenses or everything which is your cost can be of two types: direct cost and indirect cost. Now, what is direct and what is indirect? Please pay attention because these are all conceptual points. So every cost, whether it is material, labor, expense, is of two types: direct or indirect. Now, what is direct? Direct is, अब वापस मैं थोड़ा सा क्वांटिफिकेशन वाले पार्ट पे आता हूँ. The one which can be easily quantified, कि आपके इस काम के लिए, इस प्रोडक्ट के लिए, इस पर्टिकुलर सर्विस के लिए वो कितना लगता है. What you can easily quantify, what you can easily measure, that is direct. But what cannot be easily precisely quantified, मगर लेना तो है, तो हम क्या करते हैं, उसको फिर थोड़ा सा एवरेज आउट, अंदाजे लेते हैं. वी टेक सम averaging figure because you cannot quantify the exact amount. That is indirect. So now let us understand this from material example, because material is the most easy part to understand. Rice, dal, all things you can quantify how much rice, how much dal is required. In fact, your mummy, or in some cases house help, or whoever is doing the cooking, when they start the cooking, they have a measure in front of their eyes, or that they have planned, that they will take the flour, they will take the dal using a measure itself. So it means it can be quantified. So where items or any of these expense can be precisely quantified how much is required, that will be direct. But there are certain items which you cannot exactly quantify how much, for example, gas, for example, electricity, but you have consumed both of them. But if you cannot quantify exactly how much, you take some average out. Okay, we will say ना अंदाजे इसको कितना गैस लगा रहेगा, कितने यूनिट्स गैस लगा रहेगा, अंदाजे, because you do not know the precise thing. But you have to take that cost also because it is incurred. That is indirect. Similarly, labor. In labor also, those labor whose time, how much they have worked on your product, on your service, can be quantified. Now, generally, it is the time of the production workers. Like here, it is the cooking time, which can be quantified. That is direct. But there are so many other human efforts like the planning, like the managing. This you cannot quantify as to exactly how much of planning time, how much of managing time is required only for yesterday's dinner. Because many times planning is done at a bigger scale. It may be done for the whole year. Like in your mommy's case, she does planning for the whole week or for the whole month. Accordingly, she makes purchases. She takes care of the storage. She keeps on monitoring whether any material in the storage has fallen short or is getting over. So I should go and purchase. She's planning so many things. She's managing so many things. Then only you get your dinner or any food in time. But how much of her planning time is for yesterday's dinner is not measurable. You cannot precisely say, so that much part is indirect. Similarly, expenses. If it is something like depreciation, which is for the whole year. So I have used all these things, kitchen area, all my kitchen equipments, all the utensils, fridge, everything throughout the year. How much is used for yesterday's dinner? If it is not quantifiable, which many times is the case, it is indirect. But if you can precisely say, okay, this much of this particular asset I have used, you can quantify, it will be direct. So all these expenses bifurcated into direct, indirect, direct, indirect. So from this, we get 6 types of cost: direct material, direct labor, direct expense, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expense. Fine. So I'll take one question, then we'll go for a break because we have been discussing for more than 1.5 hours. Yes, Aditi.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I want some, one or two examples for the direct labor and indirect labor because I'm not getting that what's the clear difference between them.
See, don't go for example right now because the example will change with every situation. First, understand the concept. What is direct? Direct is what you can quantify. Like I gave you example in this dinner case. Can you measure how much time your mummy required to cook the food? Answer is yes. In fact, many times when you ask your mummy, ki, mummy, how much time is there? I'm hungry. She will say you'll have to wait for 30 minutes. It will require 30 minutes to prepare, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can precisely measure the quantity, how much is required. In case of labor, what is the quantity of labor? It is the time. So mummy's cooking time is direct labor because it can be quantified precisely. Understood?
Yes,
But
sir.
in order that you get the dinner, yesterday's dinner, in order that you get today's breakfast or lunch or whatever in time, she is also doing at the back end planning, which may be going on throughout the day in her head. She's also going for shopping. She's spending her time for so many other activities. But out of that, how much time is she? Let us say she went for shopping for buying all your weekly required items. There she went and she spent 3 hours for going to different shops and different malls and getting all the items, which she will be using for cooking in the next week. But can you tell out of those 3 hours how much time precisely she used for yesterday's dinner? Answer is no. But what we'll do, we will average out that cost. So that time which is spent by her but cannot be precisely identified, cannot be measured as to how much was required for yesterday's dinner, that much time of her is indirect labor. Like as
Sir,
I
I
gave you.
want to add it in the labor as
One second,
example.
Harshal. 1 second,
Yes, sir.
Harshal.
Yes.
Is this clear, Aditi?
Yes, sir. It's clear. Thank you so much, sir.
Perfect. Yes, Harshal, go ahead.
Sir, I want to identify one example to relate it with a labor, direct and indirect. For example, in a hotel, the servant is an indirect labor. Am I right?
You can
He
say
also
so, beta, but
indirect
I
labor.
means you want to say
And
that
the
the
direct
person who's
labor is
serving.
who are cooking to that particular dinner, right? Or a food which to be served to the
mm,
customer.
See, if that is measurable with your dish, then it is direct. But many times that is not the case because that cook is cooking at the same time many things. So let us, for the time being, I'll agree, though it is not very 100% correct, but for the time being, I'll agree. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Students, so now we'll go for our break. So every class will have around 15 minutes break. So I'll give you that break. You can just freshen up, maybe have something, and then we'll come back and we complete the cost sheet and some theoretical concepts of this topic. Fine. So please come back in 15 minutes so that we can complete the theoretical part. Okay, students, let us resume. Thank you. So I have some points. Arpita says like the time spent on purchasing grocery for the week, that would be indirect, correct? Yes, yes, correct. Perfect. Okay. Now, so broadly, the cost can be bifurcated into these three components and then further into these six components: direct material, direct labor, direct expense. Now, the total of this will be technically called as prime cost. And the total of this indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses is called as overheads. So see, now we are slightly moving from the basic or the real life words or scenarios to the technical part of costing, which now you have to be very clear with, because this is the point which is going to be very, very important when you are studying any further chapters. So the total of the three direct elements, that is direct material, direct labor, direct expense, is technically referred to as prime cost. And the total of the indirect elements, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, is referred to as overheads. Further, when you'll study the overheads chapter, you'll find that overheads, the total of indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expense, is further classified into three categories or three subparts of overheads. One is production overheads, the other is administration overheads, and the third is selling and distribution overheads. So overheads are reclassified or further bifurcated into three subcategories. So manufacturing related overheads, then management or day-to-day administration related expenses overheads, and the overheads that you incur for marketing your products and making the products available to your consumer, that is selling and distribution overheads. So students, this is, I'm sure, uh, a good insight you would have got from this particular entire discussion, entire exercise that we had. Now, let me take you to the module for covering some of the important theory concepts. Some which I'll be leaving out will be covered in due course in respective chapters. I can theoretically read out them here, but that will not make much sense. Once you get the feel, you will be able to understand those definitions more properly. Now, starting with the meaning and definition. So what is cost? Cost is the amount of resource which is given up in exchange of some goods or services. So this is one of the definitions. The most common one which is used is, it is the amount of expenditure which is attributable to a specific product, service, or activity. So how is cost defined? It is defined as the amount of expenses attributable to a product, service, or activity. Now here, I would like to discuss for a minute on this. The amount of expenditure which becomes cost may be actual or may be notional. Now this again, I can explain you with the present example that we were discussing of dinner. So when we are saying expenses, what happens is in accounts, if you look at expenses from accounting perspective, you will find that accounts mainly records those expenses for which you are making actual payment or for which there is some actual nature. Accounts do not recognize those expenses where there is no actual outflow. This is what is notional. I'll give you example. Your mummy has cooked the food. We discussed this is direct labor. But is there any salary for that? Is there any payment for that? Answer is no. Now, when you go to accounts, accounts will never record the salary paid to owner, proprietor. Accounts will not record rent of the owner's premises. These are notional. Notional means you have that particular expense. You have consumed that resource. If I go by this first part of the definition, you have used some resource, but you have not actually given anything out of pocket. So the parallel words for notional is also parallelly called as implied, imputed. These are the parallel words. So important to know is that cost includes all expenses, be it actual or be it notional. Then comes the definition of costing. What is costing? It is the technique and process of knowing your cost, calculating your cost. So as I say, as I was explaining in simpler language at the start, because we started with this only, what is the difference between costing and cost accounting? So it is the process of knowing your cost, calculating your cost. This is what is substituted here by the word ascertaining. So only the technical words are being substituted. Conceptually, I'm sure now you'll be able to understand it much easily. How is cost accounting defined? It is again defined as the process. Now, what is this process? It is the process of accounting of what? Of the cost. So it is the process of accounting for cost. Now, after this, they have defined or they have explained the process of accounting only. How? They say that how this process will start, it will start with recording. And how it will end? It will end with the preparation of periodical statements and report, which I was calling as cost reports. So what is cost accounting? It is again a process because ing is used. Which process? Process of accounting the cost. How? It starts with recording and it ends with preparing the periodical reports. Now, these two are new concepts. What is cost accountancy? So it is the higher step of costing and cost accounting. So how it is defined? It is defined as it is the application of what? Both costing and cost accounting principles, methods and techniques. So whatever you do in costing and cost accounting, both are combined. But for what purpose? For the purpose of achieving cost control, for the purpose of achieving managerial decision making. So when you use costing and cost accounting for some higher level work, like controlling your cost, deciding on some crucial issues, that becomes your cost accountancy, that is using the cost data for taking these higher level actions. Then comes the second word in your subject paper. So your subject is cost and management accounting. So it means it is cost accounting and also management accounting. Again, when we say accounting, what is accounting? Accounting means recording, classifying, summarizing. Of what? Of that data which is required for management. Now, slightly let us try to recall our 11, 12 standard days when you studied the definition of management. How is management defined? Management is defined to mean planning, directing, staffing, controlling, decision making. These were the 5 processes you studied in the definition of management. Now, what is management accounting? Now, in order to do controlling, in order to do decision making, in order to do planning, all these processes which are part of management, I'm sure you'll understand this, that if I want to plan something, I'll first need some data. Without data, I cannot plan. Without data, I cannot control. If I have to take some decision, I should have some details with me. Only after going through the details, I'll decide, okay, either this or this or this. Let us say, if you're going to a mall to buy an electronic gadget, I'm sure you all would have lot of data with you about what are the functions, what are the features, what level is the RAM, what is the speed, what is the processor, so many things. Graphic card is there or not, etc., etc., whether the memory is extendable or not, etc., etc. Without this decision, without this data, without this detailed information, you cannot take the correct decision. Now, what is management accounting? Management accounting is the accounting which is for management. Means it will again do the same accounting process of recording, classifying, summarizing, etc. So that the actions of planning, the action of controlling, the action of decision making can happen. Or in simpler words, if I have to put it more simply, management accounting will provide you that data, that detailed information, looking at which you can do planning, going through which you can do controlling, going through which or using which you can take the decisions. So it is accounting for management. Now, how here it is defined? Management accounting is the application of principle of accounting. So you're going to do accounting only and also the financial management. Why? To create, protect, preserve, increase value for the stakeholders. See, this is what is the role of management. What is the role of management? Whoever are your stakeholders, stakeholder are your shareholders, stakeholder is government, stakeholder is consumer, whoever is linked to your business, your entity is the stakeholder. Majorly, it is the firstly the shareholders, then the government, then your customers, then your employees, then your other suppliers, everybody. Now, what you have to do is you have to create, protect, preserve, and increase the value. Either it may be a profit-making entity or it may be a NPO, not for profit. In any case, as a management, what is your role? Your role is to create value for them. And how do you do that? For that, what we studied in management is you do planning, directing, staffing, controlling, decision making. Now, what is management accounting? It is the application of principles of accounting so that you can do this function of management. Management accounting is an integral part of management function. So for doing the management function, you require lot of information. This information is provided by management accounting. So management accounting will end by preparing reports. These reports will be the one which will help you in the management function of planning, organizing, controlling, decision making, etc. Correct. Then you come to another concept. What is cost management? Again, management means what? Planning, controlling. So when you do this for cost, it becomes cost management. So what it says, it is the application of management accounting concepts, methods of collection, analysis, and presentation of data. So whatever we studied above for management accounting, you are applying all those things. The only difference is you are applying it now to what? To only limited one thing, that is planning, monitoring, and controlling what? Cost. Because this is what is the role of management. When you do the role of management on cost, that is planning the cost, controlling the cost, monitoring the cost, what you are doing is cost management. So planning of cost is cost management. Taking correct action so that the cost remains within limit, that is monitoring, is what? Management of cost. Wherever the cost is exceeding the limits, taking actions to bring it down, to reduce it, to control it. Again, what? It is management action. Now, why do you need this subject? What is the purpose of this subject? What is the role of this subject in business? So this subject has five major roles. What is our subject? Cost accounting. So why do you do cost accounting? Five purposes. The first basic purpose is costing, because without costing, cost accounting cannot happen. So first you ascertain the cost. So the first purpose, first object is to finding out the cost, right? Now, interestingly, once you find out the cost, it will also help you in fixing your price. Yes, it will also help you in finding out how much profit you earn from a particular product. Please understand, your financial accounting gives you profit, but it gives you profit for the whole business. Many times, I want to know what my one particular product is earning. This applies today to many businesses because today many businesses are engaged in multiple products, multiple different activities. Now I want to know profit of each product, each activity, each service which I give independently. That financial accounting cannot do. That cost accounting does. How? Cost accounting has calculated cost of each product. You know the price of each product. You can find out profitability. Then what is the use of this? For controlling costs, for reducing costs, and also in assisting the management in decision making. And that is why if you see these three roles, controlling, reduction, management, are related to management. That is why this subject is combined like cost and management accounting. Why we do not only say cost accounting? Because ultimately through cost accounting, you will finally achieve management accounting also. Hence, the subject is combined. Now, they've explained what is the steps in cost control. This rule you apply to anything you want to control. So let us say many times students tell me कि sir मुझे पढ़ना है पर बहुत time pass हो रहा है. I'm not able to control myself. Maybe because of social media, maybe because I am addicted to watching OTT, binge watching today's term. Sir, how to control? See, the steps are given. This steps applies to cost control. This steps apply to controlling anything. First is set a limit. The very first step is you have to set a limit. Here they've used the word standard. So the first step is set a limit. So today you are watching throughout the day. Okay. And anyways, you are addicted to watching OTT, to being on social media. No problem. First step is, see, very first step, even what is not written is you have to first decide that I want to do this. Because it is only you who can do this, nobody else. Once you decide, I'll give you the technique. What is the technique? Now set a limit. Like many time people come to me and say, sir, once I'm on phone, I keep on talking for hours. I said, no problem. Put a limit. What limit? That after 20 minutes, my call will get disconnected. This happens. There are such apps. Similarly, for social media watching, you download an app which will automatically disconnect that particular social media after 20 minutes, after 30 minutes. And it will restart it only after 2 hours. So first is set a limit. So what is the limit? I'll watch it for half an hour. Then for 2 hours, I'll study. Maybe again, I'll watch it for half an hour, 2 hours, I'll study. Slowly, steadily, we'll increase this. We'll increase the 2 hours time and we'll reduce the 30 minutes time. But first, we start with this. So fix a limit. Now what you have to do is, you have to check your actual and keep comparing the actual with the limit. This is where the main control happens. Now here I've already given you a tool that install an app which will do the other two things. What? It will check your actual performance, how much time you were on the OTT channel on social media, and it will keep on doing comparison with standard because you have feed it in that 30 minutes is the time. And then when you are crossing the 30 limit, firstly it will analyze variance means the difference, why this difference happened, and proper action is taken. So whoever wants to control anything, these are the simple steps. But before that, you have to take the decision. You have to tell yourself that no, boss, I want to change. I want to control. Okay, that is how cost control happen. So these 5 concepts are explained here in detail. What are the 5 objectives of cost accounting? So broadly, the 5 objectives are: 1, first step is costing, that is ascertaining cost. Then on the basis of that, finding out the price and also finding out the profit of each product, cost control, cost reduction, and helping the management in decision making. Now, many times we use these both words together, cost control, cost reduction. But let me tell you, dear students, control is different, reduction is different. Control is maintaining something at a particular level. So as I said, you'll watch social media for half an hour, and then you'll study for 2 hours, 3 hours, then again maybe half an hour. So when you want to limit yourself to a particular level, that is control. Reduction is कि भाई, I am consuming too much of sugar, I am continuously watching too much of OTT, I want to reduce it. That is what is reduction. Now, similarly in cost, what is control, what is reduction? Today in market, this pen can be sold for 200 rupees and I want to earn 10% margin. So my profit should be 20 rupees. It means my cost should be 180. Now I will take all the efforts to keep my cost at 180. This is cost control. After 1.5 years, I was able to do this. After 1.5 years, a competitor comes, a Chinese product comes, which is now selling the pen at 100 rupees. Again, deducting 10% profit margin, I should be able to make it 90, but I'm already making it at 180. Now, how I will bring 180 to 90? That is cost reduction. So, what is the difference? Control is maintaining the cost in accordance with the standard. So you fix a limit, you try to maintain it. Reduction is you are concerned with reducing the cost. Here, whatever original standard was there, now you have to challenge the standard also because now 180 is not suitable to you. You have to make it 90. And then you have to take efforts. You have to endeavor to improvise them, to reduce them. Then comes the second point. What is cost control? It tries to attain the least possible cost under the existing conditions. Whereas reduction recognizes that no condition is permanent. So even today, you are making it at 80, you are happy. Sorry, 180 and you are happy. No. Now we are not going to accept this. We want a change because we want to make this 180 to 90. How? So we will find out new options, cheaper raw material, better production methods, different ways of doing the business so that my cost is reduced. And this you will see practically today cost reduction is happening. What you are getting for 200, now it is you are getting for 160 and maybe very soon you'll get for 150. How? They have reduced their cost by doing so many different things. Then in case of control, emphasis is on past and present, whereas in case of reduction, emphasis is on present and future. Why past and present in case of control? Because you fix a limit which is done in past, like as I said, 180 is the price cost, and then I try to maintain it. So I keep the same level. That is what is past and present. Whereas reduction is for future. I am seeing that there is competitor. I will face problem tomorrow if I do not change. So I am doing it for a future. Most important difference is this. Control is a preventive action, whereas reduction is a corrective action. So in control, what you are doing, you are not allowing the cost to exceed 180. You are keeping it within 180. So you are taking a preventive action. Reduction is what? No, no, now this 180 is not suitable. Let me change my entire method of making, change the raw material, change the labor, and get it to 90. This is what is taking a corrective action. Cost control ends when target is achieved. Cost reduction has no visible end. Why? Because you'll require to do this reduction. Now, scope of cost accounting. So, within cost accounting, what all things are covered? Costing is covered as we have been discussing. The accounting part is concerned. Now, when you're doing accounting, you require all these things. You require recording, reporting, analysis, everything. Now, in cost accounting, cost analysis is there. What is this cost analysis? We just saw whether it is material, labor, whether it is direct, indirect, all this is part of analysis. Comparison, wherever you have to achieve something, you have to keep a target and keep on comparing with the target. Cost control, cost reduction, we studied. Cost reports, you are going to study what are the different reports that are required. One of the reports we already saw, that is cost sheet, but that was at a very broad level. Now, when you go to the first practical chapter, which is cost sheet, you will study the cost sheet in much detail. And then, like other laws, you have some compulsory legal compliances to be done. So, I'm sure you all would have heard that income tax, GST, you have to compulsorily pay, otherwise there will be some legal action. So, that is one of the statutory compliances. Similarly, Companies Act has made for certain companies costing and cost accounting compulsory, and they have made them to submit certain reports. If they fail to do that, they may face some consequences under the Companies Act. That is the statutory compliance that the company has to do relating to costing. Now, how is this subject that is cost and management accounting connected with other related subjects. First, we're trying to understand the difference between cost accounting and management accounting. Now, both are our subjects, this paper only, but there is a difference. What is the difference? Costing focuses more on the quantitative aspect, whereas management focuses both quantitative as well as qualitative. Now you'll understand, see, management work is more at a higher level. So it will require data, which is gathered from cost accounting only. So that part is quantitative only. But it has also to do decision making. It has also to do a lot of mind work. So there is a lot of planning involved. There is a lot of visioning involved. That is where the qualitative aspect comes. Then objective. What is the objective of cost accounting? Its objective is to record the cost. So you ascertain the cost by doing costing and you record it by doing cost accounting. Whereas, what is the objective of management accounting? If you recall, I had said that the main purpose is to find out or to prepare those information reports which will help the management in doing their work of planning, controlling, directing, decision making, etc. So management accounting is more focused on providing the data to the management so that they can do their work. What are the areas covered in cost accounting? It is only the cost area. Whereas in management accounting, I'm sure you'll understand all the entire business areas are covered. So financial accounting is covered, budgeting, taxation, everything is covered. Recording, cost accounting records both past and present, whereas management accounting is mainly concerned with future, because in management is always for future. We are planning today for something future. We are taking decision today for something future. We are fixing some limits and standards so that we can control our cost in future. So management is more future related. Development, it is developed in relation to industrial revolution. So how cost accounting came after industrial revolution, as you would have studied in history, there was mass production. So you needed to go outside your local area. Now, till you were confined to local area, barter was the common method. Money was not required. And there was no need to fix a price because the quantity was very small. The moment there was industrial revolution and there was huge quantity in production, now you had to go outside your market. Once you needed to go outside your market, you needed to fix the price. That is where costing came in. How is management accounting developed? It is developed in relation to the requirement of modern business. So today we are seeing that businesses are becoming very competitive. There are new techniques coming. There are new technologies coming. So management role is increasing day by day. And then there are certain rules and regulations where, as I just explained, for costing, you have some provisions in the company's law, which makes costing and cost accounting mandatory. However, for management, there are no legal rules. Management is done by choice. We need management so that our business flourishes and we get good returns. Now, how is costing and financial accounting connected? This is very important. Many times this is asked in the paper. So financial accounting is more concerned only with the financial performance, whereas costing is concerned with cost control decision making. Nature, it classifies records, presents and interpret transactions, again only the one which are in financial terms, that is money terms. Whereas cost records, as we saw, it is not only limited to money, it is also the quantitative part. So we first record the quantity and then we go to the monetary part. So it will maintain and it will even present data both in money terms and in quantitative terms. Financial always records past data only, whereas costing does both past as well as the estimated or the predetermined data, which is the futuristic data. User, most important. You would have studied this in account. Who are the users of accounts? It is mainly the outsiders, like your shareholders, creators, government, etc. But very important, cost accounting is always an internal data. In fact, you never publish it anywhere because costing is one of your most secret, most sensitive information which cannot be told to outside world. Analysis of profit, cost and profit. What does cost financial accounting does? It will give you profit, but at the organization level. Whereas costing and cost accounting also gives you profit, but at the product level. So you come to know profit or loss of each product, each service separately. Time period. as we all know, financial records are generally for a year, whereas cost records are prepared for every product, every service. So it is keep on happening again and again. So there is no periodicity that any cost report will be for a year only. It will be for that particular product. So as we are manufacturing the product, we will prepare a cost report for that. Presentation of information, as we all know, in accounts, you have a set format. In costing also, I will say there is a set format, but not so strict like accounts. Hence, it is given that generally there are no set formats. There are formats, but it is not as rigid as accounts. Now, comparison of management accounting and financial accounting. Now, what is the role and function of cost and management accounting? Now, this is very much related to what we studied above. What are the objectives? So, objectives and role are very much similar: to provide information to management for decision making, to assist management in planning, evaluation, controlling, and to help allocation of costs. So, in order to do costing, in order to do planning, in order to do decision making, you require cost accounting. Okay. Users of cost and management accounting, internal, external. Generally, costing data is used internally only. However, at times when regulatory authorities, like I said, company law has made it compulsory. So when they appoint some external body to check your costing, you'll have to provide it the data. Similarly, when you appoint auditors, auditors are the one who check whatever you have done is right or wrong. So that is where it will be an outside person. At times, not always, but at times, rarely, you may have to share the data with shareholders and very rarely with creditors. This is only when there is any specific order by the court. So mainly it is the internal users and very rarely it is the external users. Fine. I think we'll stop over here. Now we have 2 to 3 minutes. I'll keep it open for your queries, because too much theory will not be absorbed after a period of time. And anyways, many of this theory you will realize as you proceed with the subject. So let me take questions. Yes, first question is by Aditi. Tell me, Beda.
Yes, sir. Sir, in the starting of the chapter, in the introduction para, it is showing that Michael E. Potter. So I just wanted to know that is Michael E. Potter is the father of account costing?
See, uh, frankly speaking, I never ventured into knowing who is the father or mother of this subject. But yes, where you have read this, Beda?
Sir, there's the first line in the introduction para.
Acha. See, as you can read in that line itself, Michael Porter is not the originator of the concept of cost and management accounting. He has only spoken about a particular theory, which is generic competitive strategies. And in that, it has uh, used this terminology of cost leadership and all. See, as we studied later, that industrial revolution led people to think about cost. Why? Because they wanted to fix price. Let me tell you one thing, beta. See, two subjects: financial management, that is FM, and this subject CMA. Both these have evolved over the period out of practical requirement. Whereas subject like accounting, auditing, and taxation, these subjects have evolved from some law. So you have laws for all these things. For accounting and auditing, you have the standards, and for taxation, you have the laws. So these are law-based subjects, these are rule-based subjects, whereas costing and FM, these are practical approach-based subjects. So there is no one person who has uh, created this costing. See, people felt the need ki now I have to sell my product outside market, so I need to fix up a price so that I can pass it on to the person sitting over there and that person can sell it. This is how the need for costing and cost accounting started. And then slowly, with trial and error, it got developed to the present stage. In fact, even today, what I studied in costing and what I'm teaching to you all has changed in past 22 years. Why? Because it is an evolving subject. As new and new concept comes, those things are incorporated so that
Okay.
costing and management and all these things become better.
Okay, thank you, sir. So one more question I have is, sir, in this difference between financial accounting and cost accounting, in the
Hmm.
second point, in the nature point, it is showing that in cost accounting, it classifies cost records present and interprets it in a significant manner. So, like financial accounting records monetary items, I understand that, but cost accounting also records the monetary items, no? Like it doesn't
Exactly.
have the
But see, money
qualitative
is the
items.
last thing. See, money is the byproduct because when you multiply the quantity by a price, you will get amount, right? So
Yes,
it is
sir.
not that we are not going to record money because see, ultimately everything is expressed in money. Even cost will be expressed in money. But what it
Yes.
basically says that our emphasis is also on the quantitative part. That is only what it means. So money is always going to be there.
So, sir, that point doesn't include the qualitative parts. It only includes quantitative.
Yes, qualitative part is in management accounting.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Sudarshan Beda.
Good morning, sir. Sir, my
Good morning,
question
Beda.
is like what we have seen in now, we just read it or we have to memorize everything, sir.
See, you have to memorize as Sen Gupta sir had said that you have the last question, which is a theory question. And he had also highlighted that this first chapter is a theory question chapter because here, whatever you are having will be required to be memorized because you will be asked these questions, difference between financial and cost accounting. Example. So
Okay.
you have to memorize this. It is not necessary that you memorize it today itself. I'll say that let this subject flow first because all these things, what you are studying today, like see the first part, costing management, everything we discuss with practical live cases. So that is absorbed easily. These things, the difference and all, as you progress with the subject, you will start feeling that, you will start realizing that. And after that, when you come back to this chapter, you will understand this much better. So we are just reading it. I'm explaining it right now. I don't feel it is a need. Anyways, your attempt is still far off. So whenever your attempt comes, definitely this is one of the chapters which has to be learned.
Okay, sir. Sir, basically for theoretical some theoretical questions, we have to like I'm asking for theory. We have to read or we have to memorize each the point.
You have to memorize, na, beta, because if you have to write the theory, you'll have to memorize it, na? Or else
Okay,
how
sir.
you'll recall these points.
Okay, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Harshal.
सर मुझे ये पूछना था कि कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग, फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग एंड मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटिंग, सो इसको लिंक लिंक कैसे आप एक्सप्लेन करेंगे? फिर से एक्सप्लेन कीजिए सर।
क्या
लाइक
एक्सप्लेन करना है
लिंक।
बेटा? आप मेरे को स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन पूछो तो मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ। आप मुझे
ओके
स्पेसिफिक डाउट पूछो।
ओके, सो कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग, हाउ टू रिलेट टू द फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग एंड मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटिंग?
सिंपल है बेटा, देखो आपके सामने ही है। फाइनेंशियल accounting will only record money data, costing will record money plus quantitative data, and management will go a step further, it will record qualitative data.
यस।
Financial accounting required for external users, cost accounting required for mainly internal but few external users, management only for internal users. Are you getting this?
या
Financial purely dependent on historical data, costing dependent on historical plus present data, management majorly for future data. So this
या
is
सर।
how you can compare, right?
सर सेकंड क्वेश्चन, वन मोर।
Sorry?
सेकंड क्वेश्चन।
हाँ,
सर इसको कॉन्सेप्ट बुक अलग से लगाना पड़ेगा क्या, और प्रैक्टिकल बुक जैसे कि कुछ अब टेक्निकल सॉल्व करेंगे लाइक कैलकुलेशन ऑफ कॉस्टिंग
हाँ,
एज अ इलस्ट्रेशन पर इलस्ट्रेशन टाइप, सो
हाँ.
उसको सॉल्व करने के लिए बुक्स नोटबुक्स लगाना पड़ेगा एज
Yes,
अ
yes,
रजिस्टर
yes. You should always have a separate notebook, बेटा.
फॉर फर्स्ट
मतलब
फॉर
आपने
कॉन्सेप्ट।
नहीं, वैसा मत, कोई जरूरी नहीं क्योंकि कॉन्सेप्ट्स इतने नहीं कि आपको उसको अलग बुक लगेगा. बट
ओके
फॉर
सर।
एवरी सब्जेक्ट एटलीस्ट हैव अ सेपरेट बुक. सो आप
ओके सर।
एफएम अलग सब्जेक्ट बुक में सॉल्व करोगे और आप कॉस्टिंग अलग करोगे सो दैट जब आप रिवाइज कर रहे हो ना एग्जाम के वक्त, उस वक्त वो इजी हो जाएगा ढूंढना. मगर कॉन्सेप्ट बुक और प्रैक्टिकल बुक ऐसा अलग करना जरूरी नहीं है. ठीक है?
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
मोस्ट वेलकम बेटा. ये स्टूडेंट्स, एनीबडी एल्स हैज एनी क्वेश्चंस फर्दर? Sandeep, for the next class there would, where should we have a reading to understand the class easily? See, anyways, but see, this is a new subject. You can definitely come read. Now, you have in the schedule what is the next chapter. You can read that chapter and come. But I believe that for subject like costing, don't take pressure of reading because that may not connect much. Let it come from us initially. But for other subjects like taxation, like law, you should definitely first read. And from where you have to read, you should simply go to our BOS portal. You have all these modules. Maybe ये जो सिखा रहा हूँ जिस module में से, that is I've taken from the BOS portal only. You can download these modules so that you can have it for your reference. Arpita, one thing, do we have to write definitions? Yes, see, at times one or two definitions may be asked, but it is not that like in our 11th, 12th, majorly definitions are asked. That is not the case. Mainly you are asked more concept-driven questions like this difference between this and this. So mainly those types of questions are asked. Fine, Arpita? Okay, students, I had a great time with you all. It was a great start to our subject, to our chapter, and I'm sure you all also would have got a deep insight and the main thing which I always say, the feel of the subject, the feel of the concept. Because once you have that feel, it will help you to understand all further concepts that we will be studying in the upcoming topics. So please attend live wherever possible, be present live and be active. Yes, Harshal Bida.
सर जो बुक में लगाऊंगा कॉस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट के लिए, तो हाउ मच पेजेस इज इनफ फॉर?
See, that depends upon how many sums you will be practicing. So, but you take
Yeah.
a long book and long book may be of around 200 pages. पर वो एक book में कुछ नहीं होगा. You require 2 to 3 books minimum. But have smaller books. I prefer keeping smaller books. Why? क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा बुक आप लेते हो ना तो वो हर बार कैरी करना, लाइब्रेरी लेके जाना या आप अपने साथ अगर ऑफिस लेके जा रहे हो जब आपका आर्टिकलशिप शुरू होता है तब इज डिफिकल्ट. सो हैव स्मॉल स्मॉल बुक्स. एनीवेज आप एक साथ तो सब कुछ पढ़ोगे नहीं,
या
राइट?
सर.
So 200 pages long book is fine, but have long book. छोटे notebooks से काम नहीं होगा because here we'll be drawing some tables and charts, so it will be
And the
difficult. So
lengthy
have long book.
calculation of a costing.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. Understood.
yes, yes, Arpita. You'll be having a assignment. So when we start with the practical topic, assignments sheet will be shared. It will be uploaded. You can download it from the portal. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. It was really a great session with you all. You all were very interactive, very engaging. And for me, it was also a very engaging session with you all. So with the same tempo, we will continue. Yes, in further topics, calculations will start. Now in calculations, some people may find at times some difficulty. It is okay. Please don't expect that you will understand everything at the first go because you are at a professional level where things would be different, things would be complicated, and you may take time to understand something. Fine. So be patient with yourself. Chalo, thank you all. Good day. Let us connect again for the next class. Bye bye. Yes, Manishi. Good day, Manishi.